We're Nat and James, and this is our sailboat Zephyr. She's taken us all over the world and been our home for 3.5 years. With over 20,000 nautical miles under her keel and our sights firmly set on sailing around the world, we are on a mission to make some vital upgrades and much needed repairs. So join us every week for a new video. If you would like to support our journey, a great way is by clicking the subscribe button. Enjoy the video, guys.
Forever waiting, then came you, I thought I was.
Last week was a huge win as we finally splashed Zephyr. And we got started on building our swim platform from scratch. However, this week we put the transom build on hold as we wait for some supplies and get stuck in with a bunch of different jobs. Well guys, we are finally in the water and James's brother Michael has arrived and he is helping us with all the jobs that we have on the boat.
Hi.
Hello. James is, what is James doing?
James is fixing Nat's job.
No, we left on the tape while I was painting the varnish on too long.
She says we, but she means her.
No, I don't mean me. If I say we, it doesn't mean me. Anyway, it's looking good though, the bits that you've taken off.
Yeah.
Woo-wee. Anyway, these are the jobs. And I am currently doing nothing. I might start work on the video. Does that seem like a good idea?
Yes.
First job is to fix a leak in one of our hatches. I think we've just figured out that it's part of the gel coat that's right on the back of it. There's actually got a massive crack and that's where all the water's going in. So we're going to lift this off, this whole frame off, and repair the gel coat and then put this back down, and that should stop it from leaking. But there's probably a million other problems that are going to appear from that, so I'm kind of a little bit scared of doing that, but never mind.
So now that we got the hatch out and you've seen we got all this old silicone, so Nat and I are just going to strip all the old silicone off and then look at what we need to repair. Alright, so while Nat just finishes off getting the last little bit of glue, we thought we'd take a look at what it actually looks like here on the deck where Nat has removed all the glue. Now as you can see, this hole here, so these are the two screw holes. This hole here is where we're getting water through. And we actually pushed on it a little bit, and you can see that a bit of the gel coat sort of broke away. So I think there was just a bit of an air pocket here in production when they were making the boat, and that's why we got this hole. And we can see there's a little bit of sort of cracking here. It seems to be where the screw holes are, so maybe where people have been walking on the hatch, it's kind of cracked the gel coat a little bit. So we're gonna sand and tape it off and then do some gel coat. Alright, so we got our gel coat mixed up, we've got our catalyst in there, so now we are going to paint the entire area here and focus on getting some more gel coat in this little hole here and in these little cracks here. Alright guys, well we have put some gel coat down here. We've just put it on with a brush. It doesn't look super fancy at the moment, but that's okay because we're going to hit it with a little wet sand after, make it all super smooth, get it all looking nice. And I mean, ultimately, all of this is hidden by the hatch anyways, so not a big deal, but we're still going to make it as best we can. And then we will seal the hatch and put it back down. Alright guys, as you can see, the plastic is on here. We had some rain. But I'm pretty sure the gel coat has set up. It's nice and hard. It's been half the day. So we're gonna pull this off while we've got a moment in the weather, and we're gonna silicone and screw the hatch back down so we don't get soaked tonight. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got the plastic off. It rained for a bit, but we're all good now. I'm just gonna give this gel coat a little light sand, and then we're gonna get the silicone and the hatch back on before the weather comes back in. So We got a little bit. Let's go. All right guys, we got tons of silicone down in here. Now we're gonna drop this in and screw it on. As you can see, screws are in. Good sign that the silicone's coming out. That means we got a nice tight seal all the way around. So we will let this dry up and we will test it tomorrow, or with all this rain we're gonna get, it's gonna test it for us. But let's hope the rain holds off for a while, let this cure up. All right, that's it.
This is the beautiful marina that we haven't really shown you much of. So here we go. We're just walking up to the office where James Langridge is opening already everything. Now he is repackaging it. So it looks like nothing happened.
All right, good morning guys. We are still in the boatyard, cranking away on jobs. And one of the things I've been wanting to do for a while is add another rope clutch. So we are getting a Spinnaker, which is incredible. We've never had one before. I want to add a clutch for the topping lift for the Spinnaker. We've already ordered one. It's one of these Spinlock XAS small clutches. And essentially I'm going to drill 2 holes and it just bolts right in, bit of sealant. It should be pretty straightforward. But knowing me, probably take twice as long as what it should. Let's get into it. So I've marked out the 2 holes of where I'm going to drill this on the cabin top here. Now it's just gonna matter of drilling the holes. Ready to install our clutch. So we're just gonna put some silicone in this recessed area here, and we'll put a tiny little bit in the hole before we cinch it down. So I'm gonna get my brother to hold onto this screwdriver while I go to the inside and tighten the bolts. All right, so you're gonna hold that so it doesn't turn. Got it? All right, so you can see our new bolts that are just there.
Well, while literally James is drilling holes on the boat, and Mikey currently helping him, I have begun replacing all these door seals. So I just took the old one off, but they were all cracked and broken just through time, and I'm actually going to be replacing all of these. This one's actually not looking too bad, but the other ones really were, so I'm just going along and putting these on quite snug to the door. We've been meaning to do this for quite a while, so it's great that we're getting it done. Outside. That door outside.
See, we've cinched these down nice and tight. You can see the other ones from the other clutches that are here. And then now we'll just screw this panel back on and that'll be it. New clutch installed for the Spinnaker halyard. These door seals are super important, especially on this door and the one to the other bathroom, because they're wet rooms. These doors can get wet quite a lot, so these help also stop the water from coming through into the main salon area. Alright guys, that's it. 4 screws, roof panels back in. We now have our extra clutch right there. Boom, we can use that for our Spinnaker halyard. We could also, if we're not intending to use our Spinnaker for a while, we'll just leave that one up at the mast, and we could run our topping lift for the boom here. I mean, ideally we'd like to get one more, and then that would complete all lines back to the cockpit. So that would be the topping lift for the boom and the Spinnaker halyard. So those are the only two that haven't come back to the cockpit. Now, one of two done. So really I should go out and buy one more, but they're ever so expensive, so we'll see. Anyways, on to the next job. So the jobs continue here on Zephyr. We are working on our engine bay. You might have seen in some earlier episodes, Nat was scraping all of that old insulation off. What a mess. Every time we'd open the engine bay, it'd be everywhere. She got about 90% of it scraped off, and I've just come in, I've scraped off the last little bit here. To get rid of all of the residue would be a huge mission, but what we've done is we scraped as much as we could off, and then we actually just took a sander to get down to what you see left. And what you see left has actually still got a bit of stickiness to it. So what we're going to use now to protect, boy, is this stuff. So the old insulation we had in our engine bay was literally just foam, and it actually didn't have any, it didn't feel like it had any heat repelling properties. We do have some circulation air that goes in and out, but the rooms would get so hot, everything would get really hot. So we're changing up to this stuff, which has the same foam padding we had before, but it also has this heat shield on the inside layer. Okay, super simple. Remove the backing, stick it on, Bob's your uncle. So the idea is hopefully this will contain the heat in the engine bay a bit more, not radiate into the rooms in the back as much, and you know that heat will then get circulated out as it should do by the system that we have in place already. So it adds a little bit of sound dampening. Yeah, so we're gonna get into it. First thing I do is these are the two side hatch covers. I'm going to apply it onto those, and then I'll start doing the rest of the engine bay. All right, well there you have it. Look at that engine bay. She's shining so bright, which is really cool because before, if you had a headlamp on, you're trying to look around, it was really dark in there. Now you put, look, I've just got this little headlamp on and it's boom, lights up the whole thing. It's like a giant mirror effect. It's awesome. The only thing is I underestimated how much we needed and I didn't do this piece. On to Amazon to get that piece I missed.
Next week, James puts his electrical skills to work, and we tick some other jobs off our never-ending list.
Alright guys, it looks like we got a mess of wires, but trust me, it all makes sense.
And we get all dressed up. Find out why in next week's video.